It's Moon and Me, and it is the beautiful equinox. If you are in one part of the hemisphere, it will be your spring equinox, okay? And if you're on the other side of the hemisphere, it is going to bring in the autumn equinox. So it all depends on where you are, and that absolutely makes a very big difference, because it's not spring for all that are living on the planet. You have to pay attention to where your seasons are, because they do impact you. And so Moon and Me raises your awareness to unfolding who you are being with where you are in your life, understanding yourself as these influences and these lunar influences come in, they cycle you in, and they're bringing you into these rhythms and patterns. So just before I start on this beautiful equinox and very profound time of this beginning in springtime and why it's so important, I'm going to take you back and make you realize that we're in the middle of two major eclipses, right? So it's like being in the major of like two big thunderstorms with rainbows and thunder showers and lightning and realignment, so that we can just clear the air. All right, it's just like after any rainstorm and thunder, there's just this immense clarity in the air, because the electromagnetic charges have just been released. It's like having a tantrum, okay, an emotional tantrum, and all of a sudden you've cried and you've shouted, or you've cried and you've let that anger or that emotional burst go. That is exactly what we are going through. Everybody's going, what is this? It's a build-up. It's a build-up of energy, and that energy comes and builds up through, these lunar cycles, and we are forced to pay attention to, these full moons that are influencing and impacting, how we're behaving and what's really dormant inside of us, and how we are projecting ourselves, how we're communicating. It's so important. So now that I've shared all of that, how does tomorrow impact you, being it the doorway, or people are out there and calling it the portal, or they're calling it the gateway or the pathway. And it doesn't make a difference what language you use, but it does make a difference of what you believe you are using, because the universe is going to interpret your vibration. So if you have this fear of a portal opening up and it's taking you into this unknown, mysterious wave of consciousness, well, you're going to be on alert. So you have to be paying attention to the language that you're using, right? So equinoxes are just those grand times for us that are in this northern hemisphere. We're having spring. So it is springtime. There's these beautiful blossoms and this awakening of new life. Now let me tell you how impactful this equinox is in the year of 2025, right? Because we're coming into a true ending and a true beginning, right? So as we move forward and we get to understand, okay, and just this exactly what I did, it's what you need to do. You have to take those inspired actions. You have to move forward into yourself. You have to understand, right, there's an ending here that's happening with the Piscean age. What is that? What does that represent? Well, if you go to the Moon and Me notebook and you go look at Pisces, there's an I am thread that's attached to the to Pisces. And Pisces is I believe. And the Piscean age is, I believe, all of these beliefs of how we've come from, where we've come from, and how things are happening. It is shifted, and it is shifting. And by tomorrow, there's a new beginning that shares and starts with this equinox that is coming in with this massive photon thread and light with Aries. And Aries, if you go to the notebook and you look at right at the end, says, I am. All right? And so yeah, you got all these old beliefs that are they're not disintegrating, but they are getting stretched out with lots of other things that you believe. Think of it as a buffet that is like extravagant, right? And now these beliefs are shifting away, and there's this new beginning, this new way that is starting with this I am presence, okay, with Aries, with all these planets that have lined up, and the planets that are now leaving this lineup that we've just had. That will not happen again for the next probably 20 years, 19 years, just a good 2 decades, right? So you're looking at this energy that's coming in and saying, I am beginning, okay, I am beginning this way of living and life. And so no, it's not only you that's coming back to zero. It's not only, each and every different country. It's not only each and different culture. It's not only a segment of people. It's everything. Everything from your old systems. Okay, everything's going to come in. It's like it's gone around the clock, and ding, you have a restart. And in that restart, in the spring, okay, you are being brought into this elevated resolution of having the opportunity to truly rebirth yourself in a sense of awakening. And that's called the awakening age of Aquarius, right? So when you go look at Aquarius in the Moon and Me notebook, you're going to find at the bottom it's going to say, I universalize. And so here we are as human beings in this grand spiritual awakening, all right, to truly empower ourselves and to understand that we are truly the masters of our own lives, and we are the creators of who we are and who we are being, so that we are able to release these ages and these generations of ages of victimhood that is just evaporating, and the sense of bondage that is just de-shackling you from your past, from who you have been and who you've come and where you have come from. And those beliefs of being in bondage and enslaved and being victims and all of that is evaporating. Now, it's not going away, I'm saying it's evaporating, right? So it's like having ice that is now, melting into water, and that water now evaporates into steam. It's not going away, it's steam now. It's evaporating, right? So now there's this essence of accumulated energy that is going to bring forward your own understanding, okay, of who you are. There is no one that can help you get that as much as you can if you don't get that in one aspect of you, you have the way you think. And then the other aspect of you on the side here is the way you feel. So why this is important at this equinox is because it does make a difference, the lineup of planets that we're having. It does make a difference, okay, that we are all in the space of a new beginning with this I am presence. And the I am presence is encoded into each and every religion, each and every sacred book, in all the scrolls of ancient mysticism and histories of sacred geometry and life in itself. Everything has the I am life force energy in you. If you go into even the New Testament, I am the image of my Father, Christ consciousness, right? Okay, I am that I am presence. It is within you. It is what gives you life. It's what gives a flower life. It's what gives a tree life. It's what makes the grass grow. It's what makes the birds sing. It's life in itself. We are all in this new cycle of rebirthing and you're starting to hear it. There's like this new way of living, this new way of being, this awakening stage. And in the midst of this awakening stage, okay, there's this buffet of all this evaporated energy of beliefs and causes and effects and energies and exchanges and all these things that absolutely matter. So, how can I help you, support you knowing more of who you're being? The only way that I can do that is for you to help you raise your awareness to how you're feeling as you go along, okay, these different lunar cycles. And that's the power of Moon in Me. Moon in Me raises your awareness to, yes, there's your sun coordinates, you being the creator of your life and you being part of the whole zodiac. Okay, you understanding that you are that part of creation and you choose to come in at those months, in those certain dates, okay, with these windows of opportunity to go create this life. But in your moon cycle, it's all about your emotional self. And we're not a society that does very well emotionally. I think that we are a young society when it comes for us being we are emotionally young. We're not good at being criticized. We're not good at harboring our emotions tightly. We are quick to anger. We are super quick to judge. We are critical. We are empowered by our own egotism. We are distorted by our own illusions or our own lies or what we've been brought up to believe. There's so much out there, but that's the richness of it. That's the space of gentle gratitude, right? And so when we look at that and we look at, okay, what is the equinox bringing us? It's bringing us to say, okay, we've got to go now get realigned. We've got to move away from this old way of thinking. And we've got to move into if these are your thoughts here, you don't want to be looking at your thoughts, you want to be right in your thought process so that you're gently recalibrating yourself and rethinking about the way you think so that you're able to reinforce your feelings to the core alignment, okay, of what is here. This equinox is huge. And I don't want to go like play it out like, oh my God, it's huge. It is huge. It is massive. It is probably the biggest beginning that we've ever had as a generation of generations. I was listening to a couple of things, and people are talking about how they are in the space of being suspended. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Everybody is in the space of being suspended by the way you feel every single moment of every single time that you think something to elevate yourself emotionally. We're in the space of the I am presence awakening within all of us. This is this is the beginning of a new world. Well, it depends. We all talk about a new world, but everybody's thinking in the old way. So if you want to be in the space of awakening and be in a space of kindness, you have to heal those emotions that move you away from those thoughts and those feelings that trigger that alignment, which is your body, your mind, and your spirit, right? So that you're able to take the right actions. An action based out of fear is a reaction every single time. An action that is inspired by a movement of alignment into this thought form that makes you feel good is inspired action. And so this equinox that comes in and is bringing in this way of understanding that we're all one, we have to understand that. And that generations are generations and civilizations actually of our old ancient ways are also rising and coming into alignment. You see the old volcanoes of Greece, the old worlds surfacing and coming in. We're not the old world. Universes, galaxies, aliens. This is not new. This is all old wisdoms coming together for our own evolution. But take it away from what's happening out there right now. You can't stop that. And you cannot stop yourself from thinking as much as you can't stop yourself from thinking. So look at this equinox in this midst of your I am presence. Take a little bit of moment with that. What is your I am presence? What month were you born? Why were you born in that month? What is your spring looking like? What are you planting your seeds? What do you believe right now is possible? What do you want? If you're wanting it out of fear, you're in the old way. That way that it's disintegrating, it's evaporating. You've got to go look at how do you feel about you understanding, what's here for you. Equinoxes in the midst of these eclipses, where it's eclipse time, that's going to take you into the next 6 months. So you've got 6 months on one side, 6 months on the other side. You're looking at a full year cycle. So you're going to have to think about just in the next 2, 3, up to 7 days. It's a window. It's not a calendar. It's not a month. It's a window that's going to last into a year. The thoughts you plant this equinox for this spring, or you're folding into your autumn. How are you going to regenerate? How are you going to bring into what's going to feed you for the winter? And if you're in the northern hemisphere, what are you going to plant to spring out? These seeds of love, and that's exactly what they need to be. These seeds of love will blossom into love opportunities, or moments that are filled with love, that are filled with opportunities to bring you more love and joy and celebration in your life. Need to be seeds of love, not seeds of fear. You have to start choosing and being responsible for what you're planting, and you have to start understanding what brings you into this alignment. So look at this equinox, because yes, you have Jupiter, yes, you have Mars, and Mars is in charge of Aries, right? And it's saying to you, are you coming in as the peaceful warrior, or are you coming in hot and aggressive? Because those are two very different paths and two very, very different seeds to what your outcome is going to be. So stay good, stay strong, and let's roll up our sleeves and get some good work under our belts.